Hi Scorpio, welcome to your March 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And as far as personal readings go, I'm actually going to be taking a break from those for a little bit, but I'll probably start them up again around April. Just keep an eye out on the community section of my page where I'll make an update when I'm ready for that. And as far as what we have in front of us, we have a Celtic Cross spread as always. We have some oracle cards we'll take a look at as well. Once we get through that, you got an extra one there, and then also a mudra card. So plenty to get to. Getting started with the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Three of Cups. So this is actually a Cancer energy, and usually it represents a celebratory atmosphere, usually with friends. Usually I see this as long-standing connections too, so not, people you might have just met a month ago. These are, to me, more long-standing connections. Could even be siblings or just, relatives that you've known for a long time. But in general, this does tend to represent a celebratory atmosphere, a reason to celebrate usually. There's nothing in particular going on in the sign of Cancer right now, so I don't necessarily think it's pointing to that. But what stands out to me here too, though, when I integrate the card that came up for you guys in the challenge position, you guys actually got the star card in reverse in the challenge or obstacle position. So one way that I'm actually seeing this potentially playing out for you guys is it could just be saying that maybe there's some friends in your environment that want you to come out and, maybe party with them a little bit, but maybe you're actually going through something. You might have gone through a tower moment recently, and you're still trying to integrate the lessons from that. So that could be why the star is coming up in reverse, because the star is the card that comes after the tower in the major arcana. Could also be saying that you're possibly considering leaving a group of friends behind too. So maybe you view them, maybe you feel like you've outgrown them in some way, shape, or form, for example. That could be one way I could see it playing out as well. And in a way that can make sense too, because you guys are going to be having a full moon in your 11th house of friendships and groups this month. So that could be what's leading to that as well. In the foundation position, we have the King of Cups. So this is actually a card that represents your energy. This is a court card for Scorpio. So to see this in the foundation position, to me, shows me that you're feeling pretty sure of yourselves, or at least you're putting the focus on yourselves this month, at the very least. And that's what I'm seeing playing out there. So that could be another indicator too that, maybe there's just an atmosphere around you where people want you to come out and party a little bit, and you're just maybe a bit more introspective, really just taking some time to focus on yourself and on your goals at this time. That's what I could see going on there. In the past position, we have the Magician and the 10 of Wands. So for some of you, this could just be saying that you've been working really hard towards improving your financial situation, given that this is a Sagittarius energy and it represents the last 10 degrees of Sagittarius. And maybe this is even saying that there's something that you manifested around the time of the end of Sagittarius season 2. So let's say around mid-December. So maybe that's where a lot of your energy has been going as well. Maybe you were launching a new project around that time. And possibly even when Jupiter was moving through those last 10 degrees of those last 10 degrees of Sagittarius as well before it moved into Capricorn. Might be pointing to that timeline as well. In the present position, we have the Two of Swords, the Five of Wands, and the Temperance card. So here we have two cards of peace and balance with the Two of Swords and the Temperance card, and then in the middle of that we have this card of conflict. So this could be, for example, let's say this is a group of friends that you're leaving behind. So let's just use a real practical example that could give it some context to what I'm feeling here. Let's say there's a group of friends of yours that, the main way that you guys interact with each other is you go out drinking every weekend, right? And, maybe it's been fun. Maybe it's just been the thing that you guys have always done. You guys work during the week. You don't really see each other. But on the weekends, you all go out, you party, right? Have a good time. And maybe lately you've been putting a lot of energy towards your finances, trying to launch something. And maybe you're just taking a sobering look at how, maybe you realize that, okay, well, maybe the way that we're going about our friendship isn't the most productive for me, right? Because maybe you feel like, all right, well, maybe now I'm starting to view it as a waste of money, right? Maybe you feel like you're outgrowing that behavior in a certain way. So maybe for some of you, it might not necessarily be that you want to leave the group behind, but maybe you want to suggest alternate ways that you guys could get together, right? Instead of, throwing your money away drinking every weekend. No, let's go out to restaurants for dinner and catch up that way, right? Some things along those lines. And you could just feel like, all right, well, whatever suggestion you make, you might feel like they might take it the wrong way, right? And it's going to lead to some kind of conflict. So you could just be trying to balance out, okay, well, what's the best way for me to, handle the situation? So that could be how this is playing out for some of you. And with the Two of Swords, the way that she has her back turned on both the water and the moon, which are both indicators of emotion for me, and also has her arms crossed across her chest, to me shows that you're trying to leave emotion out of it. You're really trying to make a practical decision, but at the same time, you do feel like there could be some conflict around it. That's what I'm picking up on there primarily. But yeah, it does show that you do want to still be true to yourself, but stay grounded as well. So that's why I see you playing out there. And maybe that's part of why you're quiet too. You're just figuring out the best way to go forward with that. Near future energy, we have the Ace of Cups. So at the very least, to me, this shows that you do come up with an idea, a plan of attack for the situation. So like I said, whatever it is that you actually are trying to leave a group of friends behind because you feel you've outgrown them. Maybe this is you figuring out a way to do that. Maybe this is a way that you're figuring out to communicate to them in a way that would be, that you feel anyway would be perceived well, right? That could be how it's playing out too, since this is another card that points to harmonious energy. So that's what I could see playing out there. And then for some of you, this could even just be pointing to that desire for a new start, right? Like I said, maybe if you feel like you have outgrown a certain group or any connection, maybe you're like, okay, well, maybe it's time for me to start something new. Now, in the position of your energy toward the situation, we have the Tower. So obviously, this card is usually seen as doom and gloom, right? And like I said here, we do see the Star in reverse in the Challenger obstacle position, which is the card that comes after the Tower. So, usually I view those cards as the dissolution of ego. So, I mean, you guys did just have that full moon in the sign of Leo recently, which is your 10th house. So that could have been perhaps a sobering full moon for some of you too, or maybe you might have realized that maybe you were perceived a certain way because, 10th house is career, but also social status. So maybe you come to the realization that, oh, okay, maybe to you it's just an innocent thing that you go out and party with friends, right? But now maybe you feel like that's how people perceive you. Oh, all Scorpio does is goes out and party, right? Now, you guys usually don't care what people think of you, but this is just one way I could see it playing out. But what stands out to me here more than anything is if we look at your card, the King of Cups and the Foundation, basically he's looking right toward the Tower. So for a lot of you, I feel like this is a Tower moment that you are bringing about in one way, shape, or form. Now, whether it's actually intended on your part or whether it's just as a result of your actions, I can't necessarily pick that up. But for most of you, I feel like this is a Tower moment that you are actually bringing about. Because, like I said, it feels like maybe you're feeling a bit stagnant and you're ready to take the next step in your life in some way, shape, or form. So this is actually a Tower moment to induce growth in this situation. I do have to point out, though, you guys will have Mars in your third house of Capricorn, which is your house of communication. So there's already a ton of energy there. The South Node is wrapping up its transit through there. You guys have Jupiter there, Saturn, Pluto. Now you add Mars to the mix, too. So your communication house is going to have a lot going on. So that's the only thing I would say to be mindful of if you're not trying to come across as combative. Keep in mind that we will have Mercury retrograde for part of March as well. And so, maybe just the way your words could be perceived might end up coming across as a bit more combative than you mean them to. So that could be something to keep in mind there. But I don't necessarily think that that's going to be an issue for most of you, though. All right, in the hopes, not the hopes of fears, excuse me, in the environment position, we have the Eight of Cups. So, on the one hand, this can represent people in your environment possibly leaving, right? So, let's say you do cause a tower moment by telling them, hey, I don't want to, continue this connection anymore, then that could represent their energy. But I feel like this is more the energy at play for you right now, which is to say that you're the ones who are actually seeking more fulfillment from your situation. The Eight of Cups, to me, it's a Pisces energy for one, so it could be pointing to a timeline saying that towards the start of Pisces season might have been when you made this decision. But really what I'm seeing here is just that this is typically an energy where you come to the realization that, okay, this is fine and all, but I'm looking for something more, right? Something more fulfilling. So like I said, let's say it's just a group of friends that you feel like the connections have grown a bit stagnant, where you feel like you guys do the same old thing every week, and now you're not really enjoying it the way you used to, right? So you have that desire for something new. So that could be what's going on in this energy here. And hopes or fears position, we have the High Priestess, Queen of Pentacles, and Two of Pentacles. So the High Priestess, to me, is usually a Pisces energy, and like I said, of course, we're going to be in Pisces season. I'm recording this, like I said, just after that full moon that we had in Leo, so it's technically not Pisces season yet at the time I'm recording this, but it will be for most of March. So yeah, to see this coming up here could just be saying that you're really trying to tap into your intuition, and again, this can be around finances. So like I said, for some of you, it might be one of those things where it's a lesser of two evils, right? Where you might not even necessarily want to leave the group behind, but it's just where you're like, okay, well, if all we're going to do is go out and drink and whatever, and you're starting to view that as a waste of money, and you have bigger goals in mind, right, with that Queen of Pentacles, you could be like, well, look, I don't know if I can juggle those two anymore, right? So that could be what's at play for some of you. But yeah, definitely with these both being Capricorn energies, definitely looks like there's a lot of thought around communication, how to communicate something, and also, again, like I said, it could be related to finances too. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the Two of Cups. So more Cancer energy here. Now, for some of you, this can represent a new romantic connection. Obviously, people do tend to think that with the Two of Cups, but more than that, in this particular situation, I see this as more of a harmony being restored here. So whether this is a whole new, again, maybe a new friend group, right, that you're encountering, because maybe you decide, all right, I'm not going to, keep doing this repetitive cycle with this group of friends, and maybe this is you connecting with a new group. That's a possibility. For others' view, since we did see that Two of Swords and now it becomes the Two of Cups, this can represent that maybe you guys do find a way to compromise with your friend group, right? Where, like I said, maybe it's you do still like the people, but it's just the way that they tend to want to hang out is just, something you're outgrowing personally. So, like I said, maybe it's one of those things where you say, hey, well, why don't we just meet up for dinner instead, right? Something that, yeah, you're still going to spend money, but you might not feel like it's as big of a waste of money as going out drinking every day, then you're hungover the next day, you can't really get stuff done, right? Things along those lines. So that could be what this is representing for some of you as well, where you're just feeling like, all right, you found a way to restore harmony in a situation that could have gotten combative potentially, but you might have averted that, or even if it did get combative, you find a way to actually rectify the situation. But yeah, obviously, Two of Cups at the outcome position is a good card, no matter how you want to look at it. And I do want to point out that at the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Swords. For those of you who have been watching me for a while, I do say that I notice this card comes up the most when there's a Mercury retrograde at play. And to me, that makes sense because this is actually a card of Gemini. And given that Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and this card in particular actually moves, to me, the horse is moving toward the past in the connection, right? So to me, this is always an indicator of Mercury retrograde. But for some of you, you can be dealing with a Gemini as well. And then this could, again, be indicating what I was saying now, that you're going to have Mars thrown into the mix in your communication house with all the other stuff you already have going on there. could just be saying to just watch out for maybe where your words might come across a bit combative, even if you don't intend to. So, like I said, if that is your intent, that's one thing, but just be mindful that if it isn't your intention, just try to measure your words a little bit, given that we will have that Mercury retrograde in Pisces, no less, too, which could just bring a fog around communication, even when it's not retrograde, but something to keep in mind there. All right, moving on to your oracle cards. First, we have Poised. There's the artwork, and the number is 48. Okay, it says being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best, confidence. The oracle's message. You can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to, your skills are sharp, you've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. So, I mean, that does go along with the theme where, like I said, for some of you, you are ready to shift gears in some way, and we see that Ace of Cups, the Two of Cups, and the outcome, so definitely seems to support that. The relationship message says when you're confident and happy in your own skin, you are ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. You have nothing to prove right now. You are completely yourself and can handle anything. Love, friendships, and harmonious new connections are all present now or are coming in. You're ready to give and receive from the heart. This is a beautiful place to be. All right, so there goes another pretty positive message there as well. And the part about being confident and happy in your own skin makes me think of the fact that we do see your card here in the foundation. So, and maybe that's part of what it is too. Maybe this is something that you've engaged in that didn't really suit you, but you just went along with it for a while, and now you've gotten to that point where, like, you know what? I'm just going to come out and say that I don't even like when we go out and do this, right? That's just one way it could be playing out. And for some of you, do have to say maybe some of you have even moved recently too, because you did have that new moon in Aquarius recently, which is your 4th house. So some of you might have even moved to a new area, and that's where these new connections could be coming into play. All right, the prosperity message says you have everything, you have every reason to feel confident. Everything you need to make your success concrete is now at your disposal. You can take action knowing you are ready to step into your power, into your light, and into your service to the world. The direction you're moving in is your destiny. Your soul is smiling with joy as you align with this truth. So, another positive message there. Like I said, maybe you guys did go through a tower moment recently or will soon, and you might need a little time to recover from that, but you know, even with the star come up in reverse, it looks like it would just be a matter of time before you get there anyway. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. All right, next up we have Starfish Spirit. It says open to infinite possibility. There's the artwork, and the number is 59. Okay, it says stretched out on the beach, the starfish opens fully to the rays of the sun, to the power of the potential. To the power of potential. There we go. Sorry. As you look out toward the horizon, do you open up to infinite possibility? Spirit is the source of opportunities beyond your wildest imagination and ensures endless possibilities are available. At this time, Starfish Spirit urges you to stretch past the limits of your everyday perception and comfort zone, to dream of bigger things, and imagine with even greater hope and faith, for miraculous potential is shining down on you. Feel it, bask in it, and open yourself to be filled with inspiration. This is a very fortunate sign that Starfish Spirit has come to remind you of your infinite potential. So interesting there to see Starfish Spirit and then also the Star card, right? So like I said, even if this is a situation where you might not be ready to come out of your shell just yet, it looks like you will get there fairly soon. All right, and then the next card that you guys had was Scarab Beetle Spirit. It says magic works through you. We do see the Magician card there in the past, so could be some significance there. There's the artwork. The number is 52. Okay. It says, in ancient Egypt, the scarab beetle was revered, for the creative magic of scarab beetle spirit reminds us that we can bring forth something extraordinary seemingly out of thin air. Whenever you let your creativity flow through you, scarab beetle spirit reminds you that spirit has given you the gift of infinite potential. You have an ally as you fashion something new or repurpose the old, for spirit co-creates with you, channeling energy through you so that you feel replenished and vitalized as you make magic with what is at hand. Now is a time for great optimism, for you can accomplish anything you desire, and your creative endeavors will come to fruition. Miracles, opportunities, abundance, and love will appear seemingly out of nowhere as you allow spirit to work through you and magically manifest what you need. So, it did mention love will seemingly appear out of nowhere. So for some of you, that could be what that Two of Cups energy is about. And then just the magic and manifesting as well. Makes me think of, with the Magician here in the past with the Ten of Wands, this could even just be pointing to, maybe if you guys were struggling with your creativity for a while, maybe that's saying that with the Ace of Cups in the near future, maybe that creativity might come back to you guys. We are going to have that Mercury retrograde, like I said, but for you guys, it'll be in your 5th house. So let's say you were a writer, just as a random example, and you guys had some serious writer's block. Maybe all of a sudden during that retrograde, you might see something from a different perspective, and you're actually able to move forward with the project again. Really random example, but hopefully gave it some context to what I was thinking there. All right, and lastly, we have a mudra card for you guys. You guys got the Bhramara mudra. There it is there. Keyword for it is harmony. All right, and there's some info on it there. If you guys wanted to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say, but it says improves the health of the lungs and large intestine, balances the immune system, particularly in cases of immune overreaction, reduces allergic reactions to food and pollen, soothes coughed and irritated lungs. So definitely could be helpful around this time of year. So if that resonated with you guys and you wanted to look into that some more, I will put the name of the mudra in the description as always. We'll wrap up there, guys. I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.